Okay, I've sent the pattern to my machine and I've laid my HTV down on my mat with the colour side down as it needs to be. I'm just going to, no, I'm not going to worry about scanning it because it is a 10-inch square and it's going to fit. So I'm just going to press OK and I'm going to press cut. Always double check at this stage that I do have it reversed, although I have been known to cut it the wrong way. But I am going to do a test cut. So it's got the test cup up there, which won't get it. I'm just going to put it down there. Now let's have a look. We've got it on, the half cut is on, the pressure is 7. We don't need it on 7 for this, so I'm going to take it down to about 3. Might not even need that, but we'll just give that a go. So it'll just do the test cut. Okay, I've been having a little fight with my camera. I turned it off instead of on, so I've just started cutting. I've done 2 test cuts to make sure I've got it right. So it's just cutting that now, and I'll leave that to go through and we'll come back in a moment. Okay, the first piece is now cutting, so I'm getting ready to send the second piece. I'm going to turn off the main colour and turn on the glitter. I'm just going to turn off the outside shape for this. I don't actually need that to cut, just need all those pieces to cut. So I will now transfer that to my machine and go cut it. Okay, I've finished the first piece. I've now loaded my second pattern. I did 1 test cut. I wasn't quite happy with it, so I've done a second. Oh, happy with that. So this is, I've taped it down just to be sure. This is a glitter vinyl. I'm cutting it on the half cut on the pressure of 7 on my machine. It may vary on your machine, you just need to try. So I'm happy with the test cut. I'm going to press start. We'll watch that start off. Okay, and we'll return momentarily. Okay, time to do the last bit. So I'm turning off the glitter and turning on the star. Now, because it's all grouped together, it's not allowing me to move it any further up. So what I'm going to do is just take the star out of the group, because now I can just move it up there. And I'm going to transfer that to my machine. While it's in the group together over here, you cannot move it around. So if you either have to lay it out on your mat in the right place or ungroup it. Okay, now that will be all the cutting, so I can turn everything back on and I can close it, and as long as I don't save it again, it'll be saved perfectly fine. Now, this is finished cutting, but I just wanted to show you a tip. Because this is cut on the mat, I can go back in and recut it if I had to. So I just usually just pull the bot off and make sure that it has cut well. It's fine. So I'm just going to remove that off the mat. You may be able to just see the cuts in there. So I'm just going to put that aside. And I have a small piece of gold HTV. I'm just going to stick that at the top there. I've sent the pattern to the machine so I can head home. Okay to delete patterns, retrieve data. It's fine, it's where I need it to be, so that's okay. I'm going to select cut. Now I do need to pay my pressure because I put that up to 7, so let's take it back down to 4, which is what the other vinyl I cut was very similar to this. I'm going to do a test just to make 100% sure. If you're having trouble moving that, go into here. Although I find it very tedious, so I'm just going to close that. Have another go at picking it up. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to press start. So it's going to cut that. Like I said, I'd rather do a test cut. Although if you don't, as I said, if you do not unroll your mat, then you can cut again in the same place. Nope, that's not good enough for this one. I'm going to test again. And I've got enough room beside it, so I'll go there. Whoops, just down. Sometimes he just does not want to move for some reason. Whoops. Okay. This won't work unless we adjust it, so we'll go up to 5. And start. I would have expected it to be exactly the same as the other one, but it just goes to show that it can vary from vinyl to vinyl even in the same brand. So what we're looking for is a nice clean lift off, which we've got, and we've still got the sticky underneath, which is what we need. Okay, so we can just press start. This is a very quick one, and then will come the fun time of weeding. Okay, when I'm weeding, I have a weeding tool. I have several. Excuse me. It's just a matter of what you like using. And a pair of tweezers. I also use my Cricut Bright Pad because I find that I can see a little bit easier. So let's start down here. Now, I wasn't always successful in doing vinyl, but I found that if you cut at the right depth, it's very easy to weed. And that is sometimes trial and error. Now, I'm making sure that I've kept the dot on my eye and my little guide to make sure everything gets lined up. There's another little one in here. There we go. That's how easy that is to weed. Excuse me. I'll just show you with the normal HTV. Again, just gently rocking side to side. This is actually quite small, this print. Lifting up the bits that are likely to be a problem. I find I spell backwards. I'm not going to show you the whole weeding process because I just like to take my time. Okay, just almost lost my full stop there. I just need to stick it down. Now, because I had that little circle around it, it was easy to weed that little bit. Again, tweezers. I do have finer tweezers if I want them, but I think I might use this somehow. tiny piece. I find using the bright pad, there are other brands you can get, this is the Cricut one, just gives me a bit of light underneath and I can see where the cuts are. Just being careful to lift where I want to cut it, not elsewhere. So I'm just going to keep weeding this and I'll come back. Okay, it's all weeded. What I'm going to do to start with, is keeping it on my light pad so I can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to lay these glitter bits in place. Now, that one will fit on there. There's no overlap. You will need to make sure there is no sticky from the glitter on the sticky from the rest of the vinyl. Let's look at this one. Oh, and that one's all right too. So, because they're all right, I'm just going to lift the top square off. I don't need to worry about the bottom one because it's going to stick onto the sticky bit at the back of the glitter. So I can iron all that in one piece. I'm going to have, and I didn't take that square, so I don't need to worry about that square, so we can lift that off and we may get the other piece in, the star in as well. I need to take a bit more off the side. I may need to do this separately. What I'm going to do is lift stuck down now. I'm just going to lift that and cut a bit off there. Just remove that bit of glitter. Okay, so I've been able to line them, except, yes, I haven't laid that. I thought I'd laid that one upside down. So I just need to take off that top bit of glitter, not that it not that it matters much. Okay, so just turn it over, and yes, it looks good. So I'm just going to move my bright pad out of the way and put my canvas here. Now I use a heat press, Cricut heat press. So now I've just got to decide, got a bit of foam in the back there to give it a base. And I just need to decide which way this is going to look better. That way or that way. I think I like the gold at the top. So just eyeballing it. I can, if I want to, I can measure this. The important thing is to get it straight. So just grab my tea ruler and make sure Christmas is straight. If Christmas is straight, the rest of it will be straight, and it's not quite straight. So Christmas is straight, his is straight, not in the presents is straight. So it's all, and then I move it. Typical, typical, typical. Because the T ruler is holding it on the side, I can make sure that line is straight. Okay, I'm happy with that. This is just a tiny bit bigger than my heat press, so I may need to do this twice, but maybe not. So I'm just going to put it on top. I'm doing it at 135 for 40 seconds. If you can't trim your overlapping pieces, then you need to position them and get one down and then do the second layer. You don't have to put a whole lot of pressure on this. If you've got a different heat press, it'll be different settings. Just look and see how we're going and see if we need to. It's always the If you do forget to take out your little placement squares, you can apply a bit of heat behind the vinyl and carefully lift it off. And I didn't need to cover this with a heat-proof cloth or a Teflon sheet because there's plastic all over that. I messed up my E. Just going to leave it there for a second to cool down and I'll come back shortly. It's cooled down a bit now. Just carefully moving it. I'm not going to get my, I think what I might try and do is put the Christmas here. I think it might be just the areas where it's close that I'm having trouble. It's not a flat surface. Okay. So now I've taken the plastic off the sheet off the vinyl. And you can just see where the colour of those other squares has come on there, but it's not on the fabric itself. Give this a bit of pressure. It's all on one level now. It's surprising what a difference those ridges will make. Again, if you've got a heat press that you pulled, a proper heat press, you wouldn't be having these issues. I don't have room for a proper heat press, so I'm happy with my easy press and I just keep trying till I get it right. Putting a small amount of pressure on there, not a whole lot. Okay. Get it to cool down a bit. I'll just take that out from behind, help it cool. Okay. Give it a go. That dot on that eye doesn't want to come off. And I don't know why that particular eye. I think I'm going without the dot on the eye somehow. It's the only thing that hasn't stuck. It could be, oops, I didn't put the, it could be because I touched it and it's just lost some of its sticky. I'll give it one more go, but if it doesn't work, well then we'll have to do without the dot on the eye. I could do it with a gel pen. we go. And there it is, all cut. Looks like I bent my N at some stage, but there we go. Quite happy with that. The star is done in a gold HTV, the red and the red glitter. I do have a bit of a mark up there because I rubbed my Easy Press against it. This is just a sort of an eraser. There we go. There we go, all done. So it's a layered vinyl project. Look, lost a little bit of my N. Oh dear. I better have a look for that. But there you go, all done.